Rebecca Nurse, born as Rebecca Town in 1621, lived in Yarmouth, England. In 1640, her family came to America and settled in Salem. 5 years later, she married Francis Nurse. In 1678, when the couple was in their early 50s, they rented to own a 300-acre homestead from the Townshend bishop. It was common during this time for more and more people to move out of the congested Salem area and move further away to more rural areas such as Salem Village to become landowners and gain wealth. As new communities developed, there became a need for another meeting house. Since traveling to the main one was very laborious, in 1672, a new meeting house, with its own minister, was established in Salem Village. This is where the weekly religious meetings, town meetings, and most of the witch trials took place. A replica of the meeting house stands on the homestead today. The choice to become landowners was a risky yet important decision for people during this time. Rebecca and her husband became landowners so they would be able to pass the land on to their 8 children and help establish family wealth. They used the land to farm and provide their family with the essentials for everyday living. They also had a shoemaker shop on the property, which was a profitable business for people in the Salem Village. The Nurses earned a good living off the land and were well respected by the Salem community. Rebecca was very religious and attended meeting house services every Sunday. With such a flawless reputation, those around her viewed her as a saint. Rebecca Nurse lived a good and peaceful life up until the time of the Salem witch trials in 1692. During the trials, substantial evidence was not needed, and hearsay evidence was enough to arrest somebody. So, on March 23, 1692, Nurse received a warrant for her arrest based solely on the accusations made by the Putnams. On March 24, 1692, Judge John Hathorne conducted Nurse's trial. On June 30th, the jury came back with the verdict of not guilty. After the telling of the verdict, Nurse was questioned on something that she had said earlier during the trial. When she said,
"What to these given evidence stands me now, these two from among us?"
the judge asked her to explain who us was. Since Rebecca was old with bad hearing, she did not hear the question. Therefore, she did not answer it. Because of her silence, she was retried and found guilty. Due to their guilty until proven innocent policy, many innocent people were found guilty during this time. This impacted today's judicial system because it is now based off of an innocent until proven guilty principle. You are also allowed a jury among your peers, and everyone has the right to an attorney. One is no longer allowed to be retried once the verdict is in place. In 1692, Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Good, Susanna Martin, Elizabeth Howe, and Sarah Wilds all received a death sentence because they didn't prove their innocence. These so-called witches were to be hanged on Gallows Hill. Although over 20 people were left dead due to the witch trial, Nurse's accusation stands out among the rest. With so much evidence proving Nurse to be innocent, it was hard for many people to believe she was a witch. The Nurse trial outraged so many locals that 39 even signed a petition against it. Israel Porter described Rebecca as not only innocent of any crime, but a very model of Christian piety. When Nurse was hung, her body was buried in a shallow grave near the gallows, along with the other convicted witches who were considered unfit for Christian burial. Her family secretly returned that night and dug up her body. It is likely that they buried it somewhere around the homestead, but no one knows for sure. The homestead still stands today, but only 27 out of the 300 acres remain. There you can visit the Rebecca Nurse Homestead Cemetery and see the memorial that was built in July of 1885 in her honor. The cemetery is a burial site for many other important people of the Salem area. In 1892, another monument was created to acknowledge the 39 people who signed the petition supporting Rebecca Nurse's innocence. The Rebecca Nurse Homestead still stands today, as it offers its visitors a flashback to colonial times.